If you just took a hearing test on your iPhone, what's the next step?
If you've just discovered,
right.
man, I've got some hearing loss, one great option might be, let's try these AirPods that I've got.
Yeah.
Let's use them as a hearing aid, which is a new feature that many people are discovering. And let's see what happens. Let's see if this improves things.
So there's two different types of people that I see here, Dr. Whitaker. One is you took the test and it just says, you have a really significant loss, seek professional help. So that's one type of person. They may take the test and their test results are really, like they have a significant hearing loss. And so that type of person, it's obvious, you need to seek out professional help, come and see us, go to an audiologist, have a very formal hearing test and find out how bad is your hearing, truthfully. And so,
can I pause you right there?
Yeah.
Because I just want to add, I think that's your best option for anybody, even if you find that the hearing loss is relatively mild. And the reason is, the tests on the phone, we're discovering as we have patients take tests on their phones and then come take them professionally in a sound booth, they are much more accurate in a controlled environment in the sound booth at an audiologist clinic. So once you've discovered that you have a hearing loss, my advice would actually be go see a professional. I think that's what I would say is number one. Go get a professional test done so that you know accurately what you're dealing with.
And I had this experience where I took the test. It showed that there was a little bit of hearing loss in the high frequencies. And I thought to myself, I wonder if Dr. Whitaker tested me in a sound-treated booth under sound-treated headphones that are specialized for hearing tests in a very controlled environment. How would my test results look compared to the test results that I acquired by putting my AirPods Pro 2s in with my phone in a quiet room, and I took a test in the quiet of my home? The test results were different. My hearing was actually better than what the iPhone suggested it was. So the iPhone results across the board, whether it was me or some of the individuals we've had participate in some of this study, across the board, the iPhone results are a little bit exaggerated, but then at the same time, they're not as accurate in some of the frequencies, especially the high frequencies, to know how bad is this. So the idea that if it's suggesting on your iPhone that you have some hearing loss, going and seeing a professional to see how severe is it, or what level of hearing loss do you actually have? I love that idea.
Because even if you want to use your AirPods as your hearing aid, which they can do now as an over-the-counter device, you can actually get a professional hearing test and load that test into your phone.
That's right.
So that at least you're operating from a more accurate starting point.
Right.
So even if you're using your AirPods as your hearing aids, it's probably best to go get a professional test so that then your hearing aids can be functioning more appropriately.
I love it. Let me tell you the next part of my story, and that is I turned them on. I hit hearing aid mode, yes, and I turned them on, and I was able to play with volume and noise reduction. And I started my own experience researching, how do I hear in the world through these AirPods Pro 2s? How do I like it? How do I like the TV? How do I like the car? I went through a car wash. How are these devices, performing? And, I think that's a really great experience, that turning them on and experimenting with sound, I think that's a natural step.
Yeah, and I think people should be congratulated for taking that step. If you're finding that, man, I have a little hearing loss, and your first step is, I'm going to wear these AirPods as hearing aids, good for you. Take control of your health, be proactive, get some help. I think that's wonderful. The thing that I'm discovering with patients that are doing some of that is that often they're not totally satisfied with the way that the AirPods perform as hearing aids. Sometimes it's physical fit. They say, man, these things fall out of my ears. It's just not practical for me to be wearing these all the time. Sometimes they say, man, the quality of sound is just not what I'm looking for. It's just not quite up to what I need. The things that they love, they usually say, man, but the streamed audio sounds awesome. When I'm listening to music or when I'm taking a phone call, whoa, they sound amazing.
Really good.
But as hearing aids, they're usually not the best hearing aids.
Coming in and talking with a professional, getting a hearing test, but then being able to talk with a professional about your experience listening through your AirPods Pro 2s, and explaining and expressing that to someone who deals with sound. I think the education part of just learning about expectations of what is normal and getting kind of a really good baseline of what should I be expecting, and if you're experiencing this, kind of taking those ideas and bouncing them off someone who has lots of hours doing this for a living, I think that's a great idea to just have a little consultation and a little counseling and a little bit of education on, is this normal? Like, should silverware sound like this? Or why am I hearing my wife in the other room? I don't feel like I should be hearing her. Like, it can be weird to feel like sound around you is just bigger. Well, what's normal? What's not? Come and talk with a pro.
Yeah, come see a pro. You know, you're going to get a comprehensive test. You're certainly going to learn and get education and have the opportunity to ask questions.
Right.
And then you'll probably be offered, if you do indeed have hearing loss, prescription hearing aids. Prescription hearing aids are the premier gold standard of hearing aids, much more so than an over-the-counter hearing aid like an AirPod.
Like the AirPod Pro.
And you'll have that option. And for many people, they want the best. They know they have hearing loss. They've discovered it. They've now had a professional test. They know this is a real thing. And getting a prescription hearing aid is the gold standard of care for treating hearing loss.
Exactly.
And that is a great option for you too.
We've had, I guess, 4 people now just recently come in and they're wearing their AirPod Pro 2s and they're trying prescription devices side by side. It's been remarkable for them. They now have the right education. They've had the feeling and the experience, and they now know with good knowledge and certainty, you know, what's the best thing for me to do over the next 3 to 5 years. Some of these individuals, I think the AirPod Pro 2 is a great option for the next couple of years. Other people tried the AirPod Pro 2, and because of their listening needs and because of the type of hearing loss they have, or maybe their anatomy, the prescription device was a no-brainer for them, and they're saying, oh, it sounds way better and my performance is better and all these things. And so everybody's a little bit different, and it is true that by and large, the listening environments that you find yourself in and the type of hearing loss you have, along with your anatomy structures of your ear canal, it's going to be pretty obvious which type of product is going to be meaningful for you in your hearing health journey. And we're just excited. We're excited to be a part of that. It's great research. It's a compliment to you. We could not compliment you more that by just taking the test at home with your AirPods in and just taking your hearing health serious, because you may have felt, you know, I'm not hearing as well as my husband or my wife or my kids. And I know something's up. I know something's different. And so just taking those steps to evaluate yourself and kind of find out, I think that's a wonderful thing.
I agree. It's always good to be proactive. And what I've learned is that for people that have a mild hearing loss, maybe up to about 40 decibels of hearing loss, the AirPods are often a really effective solution. And they usually use them situationally. They'll just use them part of the day, some of the time. It's a little taste of what hearing aids are like. If you've got more hearing loss than that, then you probably are best off with a prescription hearing aid. They're just going to be much more accurate, provide much more help. Right. But again, everybody's a little different, but in general, that's kind of been my experience.
Something that we see is that people who have a little bit more of a gradual slope to their hearing loss, the AirPod Pro 2 is a great option for OT as an over-the-counter device, especially if you have more of a mild loss. But then if you do have a slope that's a little bit more aggressive, it turns out the AirPod Pro 2 was not a good option, because as you would try to hit the clarity targets, we would get some feedback, we'd get some annoyance, people were embarrassed, or it kind of sounded kind of really awkward for them. And you could tell that we were going beyond the targets and the gain that it could provide. We were going beyond its design. It's just not designed to go beyond 40 decibels. And so if you have a sloping loss that starts out, say 20 or 30, but then ends up down here at 40, 50, and 60 decibels, the AirPod Pro 2 just was not a great option because of annoyances, and also the individuals weren't getting the clarity that they desired. The prescription devices were doing a much better job. So that's a reason to come in. Let's figure out exactly what type of hearing loss you have. It may be perfect for an over-the-counter type device. It may be better suited for more of a prescription professional device.
Yeah, so I hope that answers the question. I took a hearing test. I have hearing loss. What next? I would say come into a professional, at least get a professional audiogram,
right.
Get some education, ask some questions, and then learn your options. Learn what options are in terms of prescription devices, how much they cost. You can make an educated decision then on whether you want to try an over-the-counter device, a prescription device, and you can make the decision that's best for you.
Okay, everybody, we so appreciate you watching the video today. If you've liked what you've seen, please like it, subscribe to our channel. It means the world to us, but it also means the world to other people who are trying to figure out what's going on with their hearing health. So thank you for watching.